So lately I've found a new channel, FD SIGNIFIER. He puts out great content. The editing is great. The visuals, the he'll put the clips, to really, as he's talking, that really highlight and reinforce, what he's saying, the message that he's conveying. He's got the visuals to match. And I just watched a video from him, and I got real irritated, really irritated. And the video was slick. It was real slick. It was on the slickness level of Candace Owens. And I picked up on this, coming from him, in a number of other videos that he's done, where he keeps bringing up the LGBT and queer community, and then overstates black masculinity, and then says that black men are insecure, and black men are they're engaging in hypermasculinity, which is a threat to the LGBT community as a defense mechanism against their own inadequacies, which he talks about in this recent video, or actually this video is from 6 months ago, of being having white supremacy have their foot on our neck. And so again, we go into the whole compensation of male masculinity behavior. And this is the problem that I have with his content in his video. And to me, he's suspect. He's suspect as a black man who's married to a black woman in a heteronormative cisgendered relationship. And these black men tend to end up being, in many ways, the enemy of other black men. Not just because he has a difference of opinion, but I would argue that, he's not the breadwinner of his household, that his household is more of a matriarchal setup, or some sort of pseudo fake ass equality, is very beta. And I'm going to say that. If he feels attacked, that's unfortunate, but it's very beta. And these are the men that, I don't know, they just feel this need to say that, basically everything black men do is, the issue is that it's toxic, essentially. And what I find him doing is basically the same thing that he pointed out about, what brothers are saying about Lee Daniels putting gay shit in all of his movies. The issue is this: what heteronormative cisgendered black men are trying to establish is healthy masculinity. And as soon as we speak up and try to establish healthy masculinity, going back to, I don't know, shows like The Cosby Show, this sort of, people want to call it misogyny, people want to call it patriarchy, all that shit, but they have no issue landing a lot of the classical male responsibilities on black men. Black male responsibilities, or patriarchal responsibilities, they're never archaic. It's only the male leadership that's archaic and needs to be tossed and needs to be thrown out and needs to be, removed, or we have to examine, whether this dynamic is sexist or misogynistic or not. The responsibility, you men keep the responsibility. And so anything outside the realm of black male responsibility, where, it's stated that black men who are taking the responsibility, black men who build, black men who maintain, black men who protect, take on the leadership. Anything outside of the singularity of male responsibility is seen and interpreted as toxic. And it's bullshit. I noticed that many of the clips that he put up there saying that, black men are, hold on a second. What was I saying? Damn, I hate when I gotta pause the video. I was talking about the masculinity. Like, this is the part of the problem that I see is that anytime black men try to establish healthy masculinity, all of a sudden we got to start talking about how, there's LGBT and trans and this, that, and the third, right? And since hypermasculinity is firmly established, there's not a push to establish what is already established, which is the hypermasculinity. There's no push. for that. None whatsoever. No push at all. Right? But when it comes to establishing healthy masculinity, not by some of these, these other people's agendas and whatnot, not by their definition, but by my definition, right? To take it back to a more traditional structure, all of a sudden everybody's got to bring up some gay shit. And the thing is like, the way I look at it, right? If my cup is, I got a cup, right? He brought up white supremacy's doing this and doing that and crushing black men economically, mass incarceration, all that. Okay. If my cup is damn near empty, what I mean? And then you come over and ask me to give somebody else some water. Let's say that's the LGBT community. I don't have any water to give. I have no water to give. I agreed with his point about, everybody's going to use, like Cap used to use this point all the time, like when we had issues with single mothers. If I build a bridge in the black community, single mothers are going to use that bridge too. Despite all the issues I have with single mothers and their choices and who they got with and, dusties and niggas in jail and everything, they're going to use that bridge. And so are the gay members of the black community. They're going to use that bridge as well. I don't have an issue with that. I'm just not going to promote your lifestyle. Because promoting your lifestyle, it contradicts and is counter to the productivity that virtually always comes from the heteronormative, cisgendered, misogynist, patriarchal side of the community. Because again, men are the ones that are expected to build, maintain, and defend, the physical infrastructure. And that is just the reality. And patriarchy is what does it. Nobody's been able to present any of these alternative lifestyles that have established any damn community. On top of the fact that the numbers aren't even there, which is another issue that I have. Because I feel that trans and LGBT are overrepresented in the media, especially over the last couple of years. They're overrepresented if they're only 3% of the population. All right. They're only 3% of the population. And I feel that they're overrepresented in the media. And what is the problem with that? Why do I talk about my cup being empty and they're asking for water? I think it's safe to say, and everybody's aware of this, that there are very few positive images of the heteronormative, cisgendered, healthy black family, where healthy masculinity is at the helm. See what people like to do, and FD SIGNIFIER did this in his video. What they like to do is claim that black masculinity, this is the problem. And it goes back to the underworld being thrust as, into the mainstream. Black masculinity is narrowly described as hyper masculinity, and that's it. So when people see the representation of hypermasculinity mainly through street culture, they go, oh, and that's the masculinity. Meanwhile, men like myself are trying to establish healthy masculinity, and then we're told that our healthy masculinity is the same as the hypermasculinity. And people try to conflate the two. And so anytime you have heteronormative cisgender men trying to establish healthy masculinity, somehow we get dragged into whatever it is the hypermasculinity is doing. We have the same problem when it comes to the Second Amendment. It's like me, I'm talking about the Second Amendment. I'm talking about a black man having a firearm to protect his family, his children, his community, right? And then every time I speak on it, somebody brings up gangs and hypermasculinity because guns in the hands of a black man is associated with streets and Chicago and, young black, teenage and adolescent males, shooting each other. You know what I mean? Or if I try to bring up a black man using a firearm to defend his family, and then FD SIGNIFIER brings up, well, there were 3 children that were killed yesterday by gun violence. And I'm not talking about that, nigga. I'm not talking about that. You know what I mean? How many black children were protected because their father fortunately had a gun in the house when somebody broke in the house? But see, nobody speaks on that. So it's like here we have a situation where, we got to talk about LGBT representation in the media, and why are straight black men so threatened by that? when we already know that black men, nuclear family, you know, sort of Cosby Show-esque type of situation is not promoted. That's not promoted. That's underrepresented. And so if I see, and this is the whole thing, right? If the black man's image is already trash, it's already trash. And then all of a sudden somebody comes in the room with some other shit. Like, it's like we've never been represented correctly. Or minimally we've been represented, you know, correctly. It's just like that movie Fences, you know, it's like the fucker, oh, Denzel Washington, oh, he's a black man, you know, and, you know, working to support a family, oh, the nigga's got to be a cheater. There's always got to be some fuckery tied to it. There's always got to be. And then, you know, I'm like up here saying this needs to be corrected. We need a better image. And then out of nowhere, here comes the train full of freaking LGBT. Here comes the train of alternative lifestyles. And like I said, the women blow my mind on this shit. Because if you go into the FD Signifiers comment section, there's a whole bunch of black women sitting there co-signing this shit. I'm like, what are you co-signing? What is there to co-sign about the LGBT community? The same dumb shit I said about the freaking the women that sit there and they want to talk about black women's beauty and whatnot, and then and everybody's saying black women are masculine or they're unattractive or they're ugly, and then they're like, we need to bring trans women into the room. And I'm like, so let me get this right. So we haven't established black feminine beauty, and you're going to bring in trans women into the room where men who already think you're masculine now are confused because they can't tell whether they're looking at an unattractive black woman or a beautiful black woman or a man masquerading as a woman, or looking at a woman, looking at a man thinking it's a woman, thinking that she's unattractive, when in reality it's actually a man masquerading as a woman. So unfortunately, in that situation, the black woman is going to get hit with the ugly bat, when in reality, no, it's just a man who's going to be seen as ugly in the eyes of other men, because men are not attracted to men unless they're homosexual. So a straight man looking at a man masquerading as a woman might be confused and say, damn, if I walked into a room full of a bunch of transgender women, transgender black women, I might walk out that room saying, God damn, all them women were ugly. And I would say, black women are ugly when I walked out the room, because it's confusing, right? So before black women's beauty is established, you know what I'm saying? It's not the smartest idea to start bringing in other shit that's only going to add to confusion. Damn. You know, and that's why, to me, like FD design signifiers, you know, he's suspect to me. Because I'm like, nigga, why you keep bringing up all this queer and gay shit? You know, oh, and violence against the queer community and the LGBT community and all this shit. Like, and I've already talked about why a lot of that shit happens. A lot of that shit happens because you have transgender women that don't tell people, you know, who and what they actually are. You also have transgender women that try to do like what, what's his name? Young Bucks, the transgender woman that he was fooling with, what she was actually doing, which was trying to put him on blast. But see, nobody talks about that. You know, trying to blackmail some man. Oh, if you don't do this, you don't do that, I'm gonna tell everybody that you was fucking with me. And then when that transgender person ends up, you know, in a ditch somewhere, then all of a sudden people want to sit there and be like, oh, it's just attacking the transgenders just because. And I'm not saying that transgenders don't get attacked just because, but there's this shit that goes down. Why is it when everybody else gets attacked, you talk about, let some black man get shot? What's the first thing that other black people say? Nigga, what did you do? Why did they shoot you? I mean, it had to be something. You had to do something. Who'd you piss off? Did you fuck somebody's girl? Did you owe somebody some money? Did you disrespect somebody, right? When a black man kills another straight black man, those are the questions that come up. But when a black man kills a transgender woman, all of a sudden, oh, it's just hate. He was just foaming at the mouth, you know, against the transgender freaking woman, and that's what it is. And it's just hate. And I'm like, you already know black people don't operate like that. Black people operate like that underneath no other context, which is hence why we've never had a mass shooting at any predominantly black school. Black people on some, I'm just going to go out here and kill somebody just because, we're not even known for that shit. But somehow when it comes to the transgenders and the transgender women getting killed, it has nothing to do with anything that they might have done. You know, and even some of these transgender women who, when they get mad or when they want to fight somebody, you know, all of a sudden they a man. Now all of a sudden they want to demonstrate and flex their man strength. But then when they get their ass beat, then all of a sudden it turns into, oh, you're beating up on women, and somehow black women come in the room and try to claim that this is misogyny against women. Huh? What? How? You know, if a man goes out here and fucks with a transgender woman, he's gay. But if a man goes out here and beats a transgender woman's ass, it's violence against women. What the fuck? This shit don't even make sense. It don't even add up, nigga. It don't even add up. You know, but again, like like he's suspect to me. As good as his content is, the nigga's suspect to me. I'm like, sounds like you in a beta male, your wife is the breadwinner situation, and that's why you up there co-signing this type of stuff. This shit does not benefit black men. You know, LGBT and the gay people are just as much of the black community as anybody else. I'm not going to promote their lifestyle no more than I'm going to go up there and promote a feminist lifestyle and the shit that feminists say. The women go out here and talk, I'm gonna make all the money and I'm gonna be the head of the household. I'm like, that's backwards. Where's the boy going to learn male leadership? Where is he going to learn? How is he going to challenge other groups of men? The very group of men that FD SIGNIFIER says got their boot on black men's neck. How are you going to challenge another patriarchy with gender fluidity and role reversal and fucking gender role confusion and all that? How are you going to do that? You know, it's disgusting what he did in that video. It was slick, but it was disgusting. I'm going to overstate black male masculinity and say that the black men, what they're really doing out here is a coping mechanism or a defense mechanism, against the way that they really feel in white society, and that's why they shit all over the LGBT community. You know, and it's like, really. So when we try to establish. And I'm not, let me be clear about that. That may be some of it. There may be guys that they're mad at the white supremacy and they take it out on anything that challenges their masculinity. I'll put that on the table. But to sit there and try to just wash over the idea that a black man that wants to be head of household, a black man that wants to provide for his family and protect, right, and be in the driver's seat of that entire situation is somehow toxic. I'm like, nigga, fuck you, man. Fuck you on that shit, man. I mean, seriously. You know, like that video that he put out is I mean that shit triggers me. It's detrimental to everything that everybody's. I'm so sick and tired of everybody wanting something from black men, and then when black men go out there and try to establish it, they got something to say about it. Again, I bring you back to freaking A Few Good Men. I neither have the time nor the inclination to explain myself, who rises and sleeps underneath the very blanket of freedom which I provide, and then questions me about the manner in which I provide it. I'm so sick of that shit. I'm sick and tired of it. Damn, everybody wants black men to do for us, do this, do that, build that, maintain this, protect this, that, and the third. But yet we can't define for ourselves how we're going to go about doing that. Everybody wants a black man to be productive, but they don't want to follow a black man. They don't want black male leadership. They just want us to do. They just want us to produce. They just want us to provide and somehow shut the fuck up and go sit in the corner somewhere when we're done. So, and then they get to sit there and utilize some shit. And then when it breaks, then they say, oh, black man, come back over here. But don't be toxic. Don't bring your toxicity. God. I mean, it's so frustrating. It's so irritating listening to this garbage. You know, I mean, it's like we've barely had any positive hetero. I mean, this is the whole family structure that FD the SIGNIFIER claims that he even has. He's a married black man, right? Has a black wife, probably raising black children. And I'm like, why are you coming on undermining your whole shit? Like I said, no heteronormative cisgendered black man particularly wants to be in a community where the house on the left and the house on the right is LGBT. I don't know what type of community you're going to have with a situation like that. I don't know what type of outcomes you're going to have. I don't understand. I don't comprehend how a community like that could even protect itself from, other patriarchal, misogynistic, heteronormative, cisgendered communities. I don't even understand how that would even work. It's like we're constantly out here undermining, the whole structure of what we need to do and where we need to be. Like we just constantly are out here just undermining ourselves with this sort of rhetoric. All this sort of I'm like, nah, until we fix ourselves, until we get our money right, collectively speaking, and businesses and economic opportunities and everything else, until that's flourishing, don't come to me talking about LGBT, and alphabet soup gang. Don't come to me talking to me about that. You know what I'm saying? Our cup, our collective cup is damn near empty. And here comes somebody talking about, oh, could you fill this up for me? I'm like, yo, I can't fill that up for you right now. You know what I'm saying? It's just so frustrating. All this, oh, black men have all the power in the world. At the same time, they have no power. At the same time, we're weak. At the same time, nobody has to listen to us. At the same time, we have no control. But yet, we're the main issue in the community. You know what I mean? Like, I listen to shit like this, and I just have my days where I'm just like, yo, walk away. Like, just completely freaking walk away. Like, just walk away. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're constantly being asked as a black man to satisfy every fucking body. You can satisfy the women, but you can't satisfy them. They want men to be masculine. Let some white police officer go out here and start beating a black woman's ass. Oh, they gonna want all the toxicity in the world. Let somebody kick in the sliding door at 3:00 in the morning. Oh, she's gonna want all the toxicity in the world. And if you don't demonstrate your toxicity in that moment, if you've been too busy subscribing to a beta male weakness and sissification and everything else, she's gonna leave your ass. Why? Because you didn't handle business. Because you didn't get violent. See, they want violence on tap. Everybody wants violence on tap. But yet they discourage the things that would even appropriately channel violence. The U.S. military is violence. Marines are violence. It's properly channeled violence, but it's violence. That's how power is maintained. That is the real. It's the idea you just go around like women and handle everything diplomatically. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick and tired of people trying to control black male masculinity in a fucking bottle. You know what I mean? And be like, oh, we want you to do this. Again, black male masculinity a la carte. I'll have some of this and I'll have some of that. Oh, no, you can keep that. I'll have some of this. I'll have some of that. Instead of taking it as a whole. Because what people want is they want black men to somehow be powerful when they want them to be, but then shut it off when they don't want them to be that. And again, not be able to define things for their benefit, even though they're the ones that are being tasked with the majority of the responsibility. So the role is, again, I'm going to say it again and again and again and again and again. The whole goal out here is to get black men to take on community responsibilities devoid of leadership, devoid of calling the shots, devoid of setting the standards, devoid of setting the parameters, and devoid of even maintaining the structural hierarchies and even maintaining the legacy of what it is that you established. So if I'm a heteronormative cisgendered black man, and I'm like, this is my responsibility, this is my role, and this is what I do, and this is my purpose, and this is my positive male identity. If I try to pass that on, somehow that's toxic. Then when we end up with a broken black community, and you got young 15-year-old boys out here blasting each other and everything else, and subscribing to the street culture that has been elevated through white media, then everybody wants to complain and say, oh, we got a fucking problem on our hands, and we got to do something about it, and this is the problem. The issue issue is that people cannot distinguish between establishing healthy masculinity and toxic masculinity and shit that they clearly know is toxic. And both the feminists and both these sissy black men and both these what's the other group, the LGBT, all that, they want to try to conflate the two as much as possible. As much as possible. They want to sit there and try to claim that what DaBaby did or just, all the promotion of the street culture. And mind you, these are the same black men that so many black people in the black community love, including all of these women and feminists and men like FD Signifier and shit like that. Oh, they love the culture. They love the music, all that shit. They embrace it. Oh, but the minute that it crosses some invisible line that they don't like, then all of a sudden it becomes, the bane of their existence. It's the bane of the black community's existence. It's so problematic, and we must do away with it. And I'm like, and then again, when you have the healthy black masculinity, people talking about that, black men talking about that, like, man, we need to get back to, a structure like, let's just say the Cosby Show, right? Then all of a sudden it turns into, why do you think people got their conspiracy theories about the whole Cosby situation, but it's like, why do you think that they went after him the way that they went after him? All these women, decades later, oh, he did this, he did that. The man was married, so he was acting inappropriately. But I'm like, these women were showing up at, smash o'clock in the morning. The whole story just didn't add up. I didn't speak on it because I didn't know the details of the shit. But I'm saying you got to look at it for what it is. Whenever you have a black man that tries to, convey a particular image of the black family, and it's like from every corner you have people smacking it down. Now it's we smack it down because of somehow who Bill Cosby is problematic. Therefore, everything that the Cosby Show represented is somehow washed away. Somehow it's less meaningful. Or you have the people that say, oh, well, the Cosby Show was unrealistic, and so I couldn't relate to it, and therefore, the Cosby Show is, we need to do away with those sort of concepts. Not understanding it's an ideal. It's an ideal that people see as a template. Again, this is how religion works, right? We paint the picture, oh, Jesus in the Bible and all that bullshit, and it gives people structure and proper orientation and everything. The Cosby Show should have been able to do that for the black community, but arguably I can agree that there were some things missing in the black community that made that unattainable, like jobs and economic opportunities for black men to have that damn structure. But I mean, it's just the way that people just I'm just getting to a point where I'm just like, yo, the black community is dysfunctional. Walk away. I'm not going to subscribe to LGBT. I'm not going to subscribe to, role reversal and beta male. I'm not subscribing to feminism. I'm not subscribing to any of these things. It's like, yes, the black man has been crippled. Yes, the black man has the white supremacy's, foot on his neck. But it's like everybody's looking at it from the standpoint that you have all this dysfunction that came out of prolonged exposure to poverty, right? That has affected both black men and black women. And you have this, how I want to describe it. You have this push that just really does not want to see a thriving black community that looks anything like a patriarchy. It's like they take advantage of the brokenness of black men and the black community, and they're like, no, we're going to do something different. Where has something different been working? We've been doing something different. I'm saying FD Signifier acknowledged that in his own video about black men being, the most progressive, even though the narrative says that we're not. I'm like, yeah, if you ask me, some of us are a little bit too progressive. And nobody likes that. Nobody likes when a black man really believes in equality. Nobody likes that. It's never equality. That's why I can't stand equality, and I hate equality, because it's never really equality. Just because you call it equality doesn't mean it's equality. If you're saying, oh, we believe in equality between the genders, but yet you're hitting black men over the head with archaic patriarchal responsibilities from the very system that you said that you want to tear down and patriarchy must be smashed. Why is that shit still coming over into the room? Why is that coming into the space? Why is it black males are being hit with responsibilities that black women don't have to live up to if you want to say equality? It's never true equality. It's always this modified matriarchal setup where black men take on the responsibilities and black women, get to, sit at the negotiating table, which arguably all women already do. Men are socialized to do shit for women, and yet it's still not enough. It's still not enough. And a black man only has two options. Be alone. And it's bad when a black man says, man, I'd rather be alone than be with a sister. Be alone or go and hop the fence and get with other races of women where the situation might be slightly more tolerable. That's it. That's all they can do. And it's just, oh God, I'm so irritated at his video. I'm so irritated at his video. Black men are not sitting around talking about LGBT. And then not only that, it's used as a distractor away from, the black agenda or black empowerment. All of a sudden, black people voted, black men particularly voted for Trump in the highest numbers of any Republican president in modern times. Right? Because we're dissatisfied with the Democratic Party. Democratic Party's up there. It's all about black women. You go on MSNBC, there's always some black female commentator up there. They're talking about, shit like, all this expansion of the welfare state and everything, all the stuff that helped push black men out of the damn, the nuclear family, right? They're up there. Now they want to bring in the LGBT. I hope people are waking up to the reality of the issue with now all of a sudden, why do you think they want to prioritize the LGBT community? I don't know how many times I got to say it. Black truth professors got to say it. Black authorities got to say it. They keep, again, very small population. Oh, let's address their issues. Let's cut them to the front of the line because we really don't want to address black people's issues. We really don't want to address some 41 million odd black people's economic issues in this country. So let's only deal with the 3%, population. And then again, because LGBT isn't just a black thing. It's not black LGBT. It's not gay trans. It's not gay black trans or excuse me, black trans or black gay or whatever. It's none of that. No, it's rising tides raise all boats. So now all of a sudden, if I'm a white male and I can prove that I'm gay, guess what? I'm in an oppressed group, right? Just like they did with white women. Oh, well, yes, I'm white, but I'm a woman, so reparations, me too, and that's the game that they play. And I hate to say it, but the reality is black women, y'all are some of the biggest arbiters of that bullshit ever. You undermine yourselves and you undermine the black community constantly. Because the number one people sitting there in the space, always co-signing this bullshit, are y'all. For further evidence, I direct you to FD Signifier's comment section of this particular video that I'm talking about. It's always this bullshit, and y'all go, oh, this is so great, this is so wonderful, oh yes, we're so progressive, yes. And y'all so goddamn progressive, you progressive your asses right out the room, right out the damn room. Oh man, it's just so frustrating how nobody sees this bullshit. Oh, let's talk about black issues. Oh no, we don't want to talk about, let's talk about LGBT issues. We don't want to talk about the black issues. Oh, how about we give you a month, or how about we give you a day, Juneteenth. Oh, how about we give you November, we'll call it, November 11th is Hip Hop Day. The fuck is Hip Hop Day. All the symbolism in the world. Where's the tangibles at? We ain't got no tangibles, We don't have no tangibles. But oh shit. Asian community, is the coronavirus affecting you? Oh, we must get them some resources right away. Right away. We can't have our Asian Americans suffering. We got to get them resources right away. Black people, how about some symbolism? Sheila Jackson, go out there and dance in some kente cloth. Just go do your thing. Oh, wait, hold on. I'll put it on too. Okay. Nancy put this on. Chuck Schumer put this on. Everybody put this on, and we're gonna take a knee. We're gonna take a knee for slayed black men. That's what we're gonna do. It's like, for real. How about some police reform? Oh no, we can't do that. We can't do that. But how about a bill for the LGBT community and make attacking trans women a hate crime? How about making police brutality a hate crime? Oh no, we can't. Oh, black people, you're going a little bit too far. We can't do that. Oh no. You see, we gotta make LGBT, because see, that encompasses everybody, because every race is a part of the LGBT community. So any attack on the LGBT, we gotta make that a hate crime. But anything specifically to black people, no, see, that'll trigger our moderate white people. So we can't have that. No. Anything can't say black. We can say people of color, you know what I'm saying? We can say minorities, but we can't say black or African American. See, because that gets us in too much trouble. But, since we gave you a couple holidays, keep voting for us. Thanks. Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah. And this is what we have to face on the back end of all the stuff that FD Signifier brought up in his video. This is what we got to face on the back end. I mean, it's just, I just look at this, I'm like, we're done. We're done. Like that's just how I feel right now. I'm like, we're done. How the fuck did LGBT become the beginning of the topic of the day? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's everywhere. It's every freaking where. And I'm like, and what percentage of the black community are they? Mind you, all gay people are only like 3% of the population. Something like that. It's a very small percentage of the population. And yet we're hyper-focused on that. We're hyper-focused on them. Meanwhile, we can't get young black men gainfully employed. We can't get young black men's matriculation rates into college, to significantly increase and stay in college and graduate, right? We can't reduce the mass incarceration, right? We can't reduce the teenage gun violence, right? We can't focus on any of these things. Again, going back to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, any time anything is focused on black boys, there's somebody in the background got to make noise. Somebody in the background is bitching. Oh, misogyny. Oh, this is sexist. I'm like, but then when it comes to the community, oh, black men are weak. You all aren't like other races of men. You haven't done this. You haven't built this. You haven't maintained this. How the fuck? But you don't want to invest in the boys. We can't discuss investing in the boys because, misogyny. Like, I swear, like, it's like 2 middle fingers up to the black community sometimes. Like, I'm just like, fuck y'all niggas. Like, I'm like, seriously, like, I'm just like, fuck y'all. That's how I feel. I mean, I know there's, the people that follow me and they get it. But I'm saying the community as a whole, I'm like, fuck y'all, man. Because you can't do anything with this. Anyway, that's all I got to say. That's my rant. SWP out.